One.
And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the February 16th, 2022 virtual meeting of Chatham's Historic Business District Commission. My name is Daniel Silver, and I'm the current chairman. The first thing that we will do is take a roll call of the members who are present and will be reviewing and approving the applications this afternoon. And we will, actually, I'm sorry about that, Sarah. I skipped right over you. The first thing we'll do is, we'll do the roll call as soon as Sarah Clark, the Central Permitting Coordinator, reads the governor's directives concerning these virtual meetings. I'm sorry, Sarah.
Not a problem, Dan.
Okay.
Please note this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, please notify the chairman. This meeting of the Historic Business District Commission is being conducted remotely in accordance with Section 20 of Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021 and shall afford adequate alternative means of public access via Microsoft Teams by calling the phone number 1-508-945-4410, conference ID 852-644-478#, or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. Despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide for real-time access, and we will post a record of the meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. In accordance with town policy, the public can speak to any issue, hearing, or business item on the agenda during the meeting when recognized by the chair.
Thank you, Sarah. Now we'll move on to the roll call, and we will start with our Vice Chair, Darcy Sequin.
Darcy Sequin is here.
Okay, and our clerk, Sam Stribert.
Sam Stribert is here.
Okay, I am told that our regular member, Bob Burns, will not be here. So we have Steve DuBois, you're the first alternate. You'll be taking Bob's place. Are you here, Steve?
Steve DuBois is here, yes.
Okay, and then Doug Grattan, regular member.
Doug Grattan is here.
Okay, and our second alternate, Janet Whitmore. Janet, you need to turn your mic on.
I'm sorry about that.
There you go. All right. My name is Dan Silver, and my name is Dan Silver. I'm the current chairman. We do have a quorum, so we'll move on. First order of business are the minutes, and we have two sets of minutes. Those of, let's see, January 5th and 19th. Does anybody have any additions or changes they'd like to make to the January 5th?
Doug Grattan would like to make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
Darcy Sequin will second the motion.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. We'll go right to voting. Darcy?
Darcy's in favor.
Sam Stribert?
Sam Stribert's in favor.
Doug Grattan?
Doug Grattan's in favor.
Steve DuBois?
Steve DuBois is in favor.
And Janet Whitmore, if you could vote, would you be in favor?
I would vote in favor if I could.
Okay, Dan Silver votes in favor. Very good. All right, now those of January 19th. Any amendments or additions? No?
Doug Grattan would like to make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Darcy Sequin
January 19th, right, Doug?
Correct.
Okay.
Darcy Sequin will second the motion.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. We'll go right to voting. Darcy?
Darcy Sequin in favor.
Sam Stribert?
Sam Stribert approves.
Doug Grattan?
Doug Grattan approves.
Doug Grattan, yeah. Steve DuBois?
Steve DuBois is in favor.
And Janet, if you could vote?
I'd vote in favor.
Dan Silver votes in favor. Very good. Thank you. We got through with those. Now we'll move right on to the applications. Sam, what have you got for us?
Now that we have the sign 22001 Cape Cod Colonial Tables, care of Kimberly Fulmer. Application to replace the existing ground sign located at 1731 Main Street. And the sign coordinator, Central Permitting Coordinator, has written a note that the proposed sign complies with the sign bylaw.
All righty, Kimberly was here with us earlier. Is she still here?
I'm here.
There you are. Hi.
Hi.
All right, what are you proposing, Kimberly?
So we're just proposing that we want to use the existing structure, the posts that are already there. And basically all we want to do is change the actual sign. It would be a white background with grooves put into it. So it simulates as though it's like a shiplap look, like it would be multiple boards together, but really it's all one.
Oh, like a
Our
table?
logo, which would be, yes, exactly, like multiple boards. But
Yeah.
it'll all be one in the background.
Okay, now
And
you also
then,
say you have a 3D
so it'll be-
circle. That's very interesting. That's applied to the boards?
Yes, exactly. We were working with Chatham Sign Shop, and he said that it would be two pieces that would then be put together. So the backing would be a separate piece, but they would be adhered together.
I understand. Yep.
And then we would
Alrighty.
just have, sorry, go ahead.
All right. Let's see what the members have to say. Darcy, can we start out with you? Darcy, I think you need to turn your mic on.
After I said all that.
Yeah, that works. Watch your voice.
Good
there for a minute,
practice.
huh?
I think it's a great sign, very well designed and very appropriate for the historic district.
Okay, ask her if she's going to add any lights or if there are existing lights.
Are you going to add any lights, Kim?
We are going to add lights. There's no existing lights. We were going to do lights that would be hardwired by an electrician.
Can you just supply a cut sheet for Sarah?
We have that, Darcy.
We have it already? Oh, I didn't see that. Sorry.
Last page, I believe.
Oh, yes. Okay, I'm fine with that.
Okay, you're all set, Darcy?
I'm all set.
Sam?
One question, down on the bottom of the thing, the picture that was in our, it says logo and address, SW9179 anchors away. I suppose that's the color.
That's correct, yes. I believe you all have a sample of that.
Okay, so it's a kind of a black color.
It's a deep blue, like a dark blue.
Okay. No. But the basic sign and all the parts, the columns, stanchions, and the crossbar, it's all going to be painted white. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
So this is going to be pretty stark, but I think the design itself, with the logo in the middle and the Cape Cod, at least people driving on 28 will figure out where they are. So anyway, I have no questions other than just to point out that it's quite different from what you have already with the red and the green. So,
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
Doug?
I think it looks great, and I don't have any questions.
Okay. Dave?
I think it's a very nice sign. I think it will stand out because there is a contrast. The only thing I sort of question if it's really necessary is having the address, the 1731 Main on there. It just kind of looks a little out of place. I don't know, but it's your sign. So,
Yeah, I can see what you mean. I know what you mean. Originally, sign shop that we did a separate little sign that went above the crossbar that just said 1731 instead of part, but that was what he proposed to us back.
yeah, I mean, me personally, I think I would rather see something like that, or maybe a little the number sign hanging from the bottom of this one.
Right, right.
I think that would just look better
Yeah,
if I was doing it.
I agree. I agree with you.
That's it.
Okay, Janet?
I think it's a lovely sign. I really like the graphics on it, and I agree with Steve. And I'm glad that you agree with Steve about putting the 1731 at the bottom. I think that will be very attractive and balanced nicely.
I agree. Yes, that was originally what I had proposed. So
Oh.
I do agree.
Thank you.
All right, that comes down to Dan. Now, we got a little bit of a problem here. If you're going to put another sign on there, you'd have to have another application come back to us. Or perhaps we could condition it somehow. Sarah, what do you think? That sign be large enough to,
We need to make sure
create
that
a
the
problem
sign,
with the square footage?
we need to make sure that the sign stays below 20 square feet. So 20 square feet or less because of its proximity to the roadway.
Right.
That's all she would be allowed. So I'm not sure if you're looking to do that. You're at 19.4 for your square footage for the proposed sign.
Okay.
Just something to keep in mind.
Okay.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think you're better off just to leave it alone. I think it's a great, a comment and suggestion, but I think you're very close now unless you want to change the size of the sign that you're proposing.
Yeah, no, I think maybe what we would do is just get rid of it altogether.
Okay, very good.
Make-
All right, I have no problems with the sign then.
Make sure you have the address somewhere prominent, or you won't get serviced by ambulances, etc.
Put it on the mailbox.
Yes.
All right, I do have one other question before we leave. Are you leaving the post there, using the original post?
Were you leaving the posts that are there in place now? We were just going to paint them
What
white.
color?
White.
Okay, very good. All right. Doug?
So Doug Grant would like to make a motion under signs, application 22-001, Cape Cod Colonial Table, care of Kimberly Fulmer. Application to replace the existing ground sign located at 1731 Main Street as presented.
Darcy Sequin will second the motion.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Again, we'll go right to voting. Darcy?
Darcy Sequin is in favor.
Sam Schreiber?
Sam Stryber approves.
Doug Grattan?
Doug Grattan approves.
Steve DuBois?
Steve DeBoer approves.
Janet, if you could vote?
If I could vote, I would definitely approve. I like
Okay,
this.
and Dan Silver approves as well. Very good. That gets us through that one. Now, Sam.
We have an addition and alteration, 22-003, JSLW LLC, care of William G. Litchfield, Esquire. Application to replace the overhang and balcony located at 534 Main Street.
I saw Mr. Litchfield was here earlier. Who have we got?
I am
Oh, there he is.
still here, Mr. Chairman. Bill
I
Litchfield
see you,
here.
Bill. You're down in the corner, just above me.
Thank you. Here on behalf of JSLW LLC, which, to put a human face on it, is Sandy Wyckoff, a longtime downtown business person who was also here. And with us today is our architect, Antonia Boatwell, who can speak about some of the specifics. But I will tell you what we are proposing and why we are proposing, and also give you a little bit of the history of the building, which I suspect several of you are familiar with. But we're proposing to reconfigure the balcony. The overhang, we'll call it the second floor balcony, for a fairly simple reason. Whether it's because of larger trucks than historically were used, or frustration because it's no longer the epicure, for whatever reason, that overhang has been banged into and damaged several times. And we're beginning to get concerned about debris falling onto the Main Street sidewalk and for a variety of reasons, safety being the prime one. We want to reduce that overhang. It actually hangs out considerably out over the town property, the town sidewalk. So we're proposing to shrink it from 8.4 feet back to 5.6 feet. And there is at the third floor what I will perhaps inappropriately call, but as I've heard it called, a sort of a Juliet balcony, a very, very small, very narrow balcony. I've been out there once or twice over the years, and there's barely room for me, certainly no room to sit down or anything else like that. There is a residence up on the third floor, and Sandy and her family through the LLC who own it would like to make it a little bit more utilitarian. So the building itself, while not classically historic, was actually built 100 years ago this year. It replaced an earlier building, which was part of it was relocated to the rear. Peter and Louise Ames, who were grocers, had a grocery store there. It was sold to Nick and the Angelos family, who ran the Epicure for many, many years. And at some point, I think there may have been a sign perpendicular to Main Street over the top of the balcony, but that's long gone. It has not been, even though it's still called by many folks the Epicure, it's the Chatham Clothing Bar, which Sandy has run for a number of years. So the proposal now is to pull back the second floor balcony and at the same time to moderately expand the third floor balcony. But I think you can find that the composition, particularly if seen from the full-on view, is entirely appropriate. There are some, well, before going on, I'll, if I could, Mr. Chairman, ask Antonia to speak a little bit about the specifics of the architectural design, which of course is your purview.
Sure, if you'd like us to, yeah.
Yep. Hi, everyone.
To give us some details.
I'm Antonia. As Bill said, we are looking to reduce the depth of the second floor balcony and increase the depth of the third floor balcony. As you can see in the side elevations there, it's probably the best view for understanding the changes in depth. The top one shows the existing conditions with the very deep second floor balcony, and you can see that corner, which isn't really being used, is the one that Bill mentioned is getting hit with trucks. And then right below that side elevation is the proposed depth. So we'll be reducing the second floor balcony to cut off that hazard, and then increasing the upper balcony to make it an actually usable space. And then to the right of that, we have the front elevations. The upper one shows the existing conditions. The lower one shows the proposed. So you'll see almost no difference on the second floor from the front, other than the removal of the chains. And then on the third floor right above that, you'll see that we are widening the third floor balcony slightly, which comes about to the middle of those windows below. So it's kind of it's proportional, and it's we think it's kind of in keeping with what was existing. And then if you look to your left, there's a set of plans both showing the second floor proposed and existing, and the third floor proposed and existing. And you'll see that we are reducing the depth of the second and increasing the depth of the third. If you look onto the next page, I have put in the proposed materials there. We're looking to match existing railing, both style, color, design. Same thing with the material used for the decking. Rather than having roofing material on the sides of the deck, we would want to continue that decking. And if you look into the plan, you'll see that we just are going to continue that there. And then that's pretty much it. Yeah, you can see kind of from that street view, the third picture in on the top, that it is a pretty deep balcony, and that kind of corner has taken some wear and tear. So that's the design. Everything is really proposed to be matching existing and not change too much from the street view.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's start with our residential architect, Sam.
Oh, this looks very good. I think the proportions that you've worked out are, as you said, appropriate. The photograph in the package here shows sort of black handrails and no, well, I guess that they're white newels, but the balustrades seem to be black. So that's just the
Yeah.
rendering.
They should be white. I mean, it might be the quality of the span. Those are kind of like the outline, but they should all be white to match the existing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'll have a newel against the house instead of in order to end the rail without going
Right.
into the ceiling.
Right.
Okay.
And white is called out, Sam, on the last sheet, A200.
Yep, I see that. So, so the only caveat is somewhat technical about not letting water get in around the flashing because of failure or rotting or some problem there technically will be catastrophic, I think.
Right. Yeah. So that will be worked out with the builder to be properly treated.
Yep.
The flashing detail.
All right, I have no other concerns. I think it'll be a nice addition, and it'll sort of clean up the sidewalk with that overhang going out way too far.
Very good. Darcy?
I think Sam summed it up pretty well. I have no further questions.
All right. And that brings us to Doug Grattan.
I got a question. The chains that are there now, are those decorative or are they serving a purpose?
After approval of design intent here, we will onboard a structural engineer and builder to probe and kind of reinforce as needed.
So those will be going nowhere.
We are proposing to remove those and reinforce on the inside of the structure as much as needed.
I think it's a great improvement on the property, so looks great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Steve?
No, I think it's well designed. I get a little more use out of the third floor balcony, and I think it looks very handsome. So I have no further questions. They've been asked.
Okay. Janet?
Okay, these are my concern. As everyone probably remembers, we received the National Trust Historical Preservation Award in 2007 for our downtown area. And it was part of that reason we received that award was that we kept the characteristic of our downtown area the same. I feel that this change, I don't care for it. I don't think it's attractive. I think it looks bulky, and I think it changes too much of what exists on Main Street. And again, if we allow something like this, somebody else is going to come along and start altering our other buildings. And I just don't, I don't see why. I did go around the back and said, oh, why don't you put a balcony in the back? But there's no way to put one. But I just find it personally unattractive. And because of our history and getting this award in 2007 from the National Trust Historic Preservation, and we were the only town on Cape Cod that received that award at the time. And it was the reason we received the award was we had well-managed growth, and we were committed to historic preservation. And I think this change is a little bit out of that as far as my personal thoughts. Anyway, I don't have a vote. Aren't you lucky?
Could
Thank you, Janet.
I
Sarah,
respond
do
to
you
that,
have a
Mr.
picture
Chairman?
of the existing and proposed again, please? So essentially, the only thing that has increased is the length of the second floor balcony. Is that correct?
The width and the depth slightly.
Right. I'm sorry. Yeah, but visually from the front, I'm talking.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. When I first saw this, Bill, I was chuckling to myself. I was thinking, well, if this was not already there, I don't know if it would make it through ZBA. If you remember, we had a gentleman that loved garages, but he hated second floor balconies or decks.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, you're exactly right. There are some distinctive aspects of Main Street that may not be inherently desirable. I suspect if this building had a plain front and we proposed to you, the ZBA, the town, or anybody else, to put an 8-foot wide balcony 30 feet long along Main Street, you would project it out of hand and appropriately. We formerly had a Howard Johnson's at the Rotary.
Yes, we did.
That was a distinctive aspect of Main Street. The fact that it is no longer there is not widely mourned, except perhaps by hot dog devotees.
Oh my God, I was just going to say that, Bill.
So I think while Alice Hiscock famously and correctly said that not all change is progress, I think this is an appropriate change. And I think what Antonia has done, particularly in balancing the proportions with the third floor balcony, is an improvement and is more aesthetically appropriate and is better for the town as a whole. I understand we all have personal opinions, but I think that this is a proposal worthy of a certificate of appropriateness.
Thank you, Bill. Could that third floor be called a lanai? Does it approach that type of definition?
No,
Walk out.
no.
You have to be in
Well,
Florida, Dan, to have a lanai.
Okay. I gotta take a little bit of your guys' time. I gotta tell you this story. There was a gentleman who used to like to frequent local watering holes. He stayed out too late one night, and he was renting that apartment up above there. So he ended up spending the night out on one of those, and he woke up just in time to watch the roof of a house go by. And I saw him the next day. He was back at his watering hole, and he asked me, he says, "They didn't happen to move a house down Main Street, did they?" And I said, "Yes, they did." He says, "Oh, thank God." So anyways, if those weren't there, I would be concerned. I am still concerned. I know that there's great hope that chain will work, but I don't know how if you're going to cantilever those porches out there, what are you going to do? But I don't think it's going to make it, to be honest with you. I don't think you'll get enough support in there, but good luck to you. You might be coming back for post on those, which wouldn't surprise me at all. But please make sure that they meet the height requirements. I forgot what they are, Sarah, for the signs above the sidewalk. And also I think we're required to have the height compatible to those that we see at the bank so the trucks can make it through. Is that correct?
So the height of a sign above a public sidewalk is 10 feet.
Minimum.
Requirement.
Right.
Minimum requirement, yes.
Okay. Janet?
Also, I think, when this is built, it should be off season when there's not a lot of people on the street. What was the plan with the building of this structure?
I'm not sure. Bill or Sandy, do you know what the timeline was looking like?
If we could ask the owner, Mr. Chairman, she is available.
Hi, I'm Sandy Wyckoff, owner of the Epicure building. The hope is the moment we get approval, we get it done. We don't want to do it in season at all. The fact of the matter is when the work is done, in order for us to stay open, we would have to route people down the alley and in our back door. So we don't want to lose any business either. So the hope is to get it done before the season begins this year. I don't want to go through another year. One thing, as Bill alluded to, was that the building has been hit. It was hit 4 times last year. And we have a little collection of debris from trucks and the corner of our building. We don't even bother to have it repaired anymore. So
Okay,
we need
I'm
to get
going
it
to
done
ask
as
him-
soon as we can.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Sandy. I apologize.
No problem.
You know, Bill Litchfield and Sarah, do you suppose there's a necessity for putting out a ballot of some sort out there?
Oh, no, 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 no. Shortening the balcony will do the whole thing,
Okay.
other than litter up the street.
Well,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
wondering why the
believe so,
truck, is it
Dan.
just not high enough? Or are they cutting
No,
the
it's
corner?
just
It's
far.
cutting the corner is the issue.
Yeah, okay. All righty. All right, well, I'm gonna raise additional eyebrows here. I believe in a right to work town. I happen to be a carpenter, and all the projects done in town, they want to do off-season, you know, and I think carpenters like landscapers, plumbers, fishermen, and everybody else should be able to work all year round. So I have, you know, no desire to put any restrictions on it. Let the ZBA do that. I don't think you have to go to the ZBA, do you, Bill?
We do not, correct. We talked to Sarah and to Jay, and they indicated we did not need to go to ZBA.
Yeah, so there's not going to be any, any restrictions put on your timeline there. Very good. All right, does anybody else have a comment?
I just have a quick question, Dan. Dan, do we have, authority to put a timeline on when work could be done? Is that in our jurisdiction?
It's my understanding you can condition this, you can condition an application any way you want. Sarah, am I wrong? Within limitations, I mean, we have.
Within limitations, yes.
Well, I'm certainly in favor of doing the work whenever they can, and I agree. I don't believe in the stop work either. It was just a question, so if you'd like, I'd make a motion.
Go ahead, Doug.
Yes,
I'll make a motion, Doug Grattan, for addition/alterations 22-003 JLW LLC, care of William G. Litchfield Esquire. Application to replace the overhang and balcony located at 534 Main Street as presented.
Darcy Sequin will second the motion.
motion was made and seconded. We go to voting. Darcy,
Darcy Sequin in favor.
Sam Stryver,
Sam Stryver approves.
Doug Grattan,
Doug Grattan in favor?
Steve DuBois,
Steve DeBoer in favor.
Janet, I guess you would vote no if you were voting, right?
Yes, it would be a no for me. I'm sorry, just because I think of, because it changed the historical flavor of the building. Thank you.
Okay. Dan Silver will vote in favor, but I do have one last comment. Bill, I think that my mother used to call that the Irishman store. I think an Irishman owned it at one time.
That would be before me, Mr. Chairman. I know that there were some Angeloses who were Greek, and then there was Charlie Tagg. who
Oh,
was
you're right.
Italian.
I'm sorry. It was Greek. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Greek, not Irish.
Yep.
What a stupid mistake. You're right. It was Greek. Yeah.
But Charlie Tagg was Italian, so he wouldn't take offense.
Good enough. Always nice to see you, Mr. Litchfield.
Thank you.
Gonna stay for a while.
All righty, Sam.
So we have another addition alteration, 22-004 North Chatham Landscaping, care of William G. Litchfield Esquire. Application to relocate the stairway located at 30 Post Office Lane.
Well, we know Mr. Litchfield is here.
Good afternoon once again. Bill Litchfield here on behalf of Edson Eldridge, who is the proprietor of North Chatham Landscaping. Edson is proposing to purchase this property from the current owners. It's been in the Peltier family since the building was built in 1963. Some of you may remember Ray Peltier had a garden shop there at this location, and then it became a auto body shop and so forth. There is an apartment upstairs, and we are proposing to relocate, reconfigure the stairs appropriately enough to what we have learned was their original configuration. As it happens right now, the stairway comes off of the balcony and going down the stairs takes a right or a westerly as shown there. That's looking from Post Office Lane to the east. That is the current configuration of the stairs, and we would like to turn that final stairway so that it comes straight down toward the south as shown on the next sheet. That's the existing and as shown there. The next application will show a board fence which will mask that stairway. It'll be to the west of the stairway. But it is a proposal which has to do with some other improvements we're proposing, which require your review and that of the planning board. We went to planning board earlier the week, and that's the next hearing. Unless, Mr. Chairman, you want me to talk about both aspects together.
Actually, I think we ought to just stick with the stairs because we do have something from the planning board on the next application.
That's fine. So it's a fairly simple request to reconfigure the stairs so that instead of heading west as you come down, you'll be heading south. And if there are any vehicles or any houses being moved along Post Office Lane, anybody who's been out late the night before won't see them when they come down the stairs.
Thank you, Phil. All right. Darcy?
You made some good points, Bill. The material is going to be pressure treated lumber?
Yes. Yep, correct.
Okay, I think it's a great improvement.
Okay, Sam?
It seems like it was an easy thing to accomplish. They moved it once and now they move it back. Just a matter of refitting the rails and getting a foundation point out in the grass there. So I'm all for this.
Okay, Doug?
Yeah, I think it's a great improvement, and I don't have any questions.
Okay, Steve DuBois?
I don't have any questions or concerns.
Okay, Janet?
No questions and no questions.
Okay, Dan Silver, like Sam and everybody else, I think it's straightforward. And I guess they should have done it to start with, huh?
I neglected, Mr. Chairman, to say that our architect, Paul Muldoon, is here, so to at least give him credit for your kind words, I'll introduce him. But I trust you don't have too many questions for him.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. No, this was pretty straightforward, like you said. I don't have any further comment other than thank you for your time.
All right, let's see if anybody has a comment or question rather for the architect. Darcy?
Well,
Oh, Sam, go ahead.
but just curious, are you going to demolish this existing stair, or are you going to just move it?
I generally expect with pulling posts and that sort of thing, we'll probably wind up rebuilding it, but it'll be very in tune with what's there now.
Yeah.
If we can pull it apart and save the existing run, great. I tend to think that we won't be able to do that.
I think someplace I saw a comment, this is Dan Silva, I saw a comment that said that the balcony, not the balcony, I'm sorry, the landing was going to remain.
Yes.
Or was that was just concerning the overall design, right?
Correct. Yeah, we expect that we can maintain the landing and the posting underneath there. There's some intermediate posts on those on the stringer run, and if we can pull it off effectively, we will. But we expect that this would most likely be a new run of stairs.
Yeah, you've got what, too much length between the posts?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, any other questions or comments? Doug?
Doug Grattan will make a motion for application 22-004, North Chatham Landscaping, care of William G. Litchfield, Esquire. Application to relocate the stairway located at 30 Post Office Lane as presented.
Darcy Seacon will second the motion.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Move on to voting. Darcy?
Darcy Seacon votes in favor.
Sam Stryber?
Sam Stryber approves.
Doug Grattan?
Doug Grattan approves.
Steve DuBois?
Steve DuBois approves.
Janet Whittemore?
No comment, no concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Dan Silver votes to approve.
Thank you.
Very good. Sam?
Okay, we have
Bill,
a,
yeah.
we have a site improvement, 22-005, North Chatham Landscaping, care of William G. Litchfield, Esquire. Application to reconfigure parking area and driveway, replace fencing, and relocate the the post lamp located at 30 Post Office Lane.
Good afternoon again. Bill Litchfield here on behalf of Edson Eldridge for the site improvements. And perhaps I could ask through you, Mr. Chairman, for Sarah to bring up the site plan. And then I can show you what is proposed, which is fairly minimal. Starting down at the southwest corner adjacent to Post Office Lane, we are proposing a paved apron in order to access the proposed gravel driveway, which will, as shown there, run along the southerly side of the property. It will have parking for 2 cars for the residential unit and appropriately separate the residential unit from the commercial use, which is not the case now. We will be relocating an existing lamp post as shown adjacent to the newly approved reconfigured stairway, and also for putting a second post lamp to the east of that stairway. The existing post lamp to be relocated is a fairly simple white post with a black lamp on it, and the new one will match that. If we can't reuse the one that's there, we will replicate it as best we can. Then there is some reorganized parking, but it's gravel, not pavement. There is a proposed sign, which we're not asking for today, but going north on Post Office Lane. We don't have the sign designed yet. Sarah has the cursor where the proposed sign will eventually go with a light. Then moving up to the north side of the property, there is now an enclosed equipment storage area behind a row of evergreens. The fence which surrounds it is of a varying height. It's currently 4 feet on the north side and 5 or 6 feet on the east side. We'd like to make it a uniform 6-foot stockade fence. And then moving back down parallel to the front of the building, adjacent to the handicap parking area, a little bit to the right or east of that, cutting across where the stairs now come down, we're proposing a board fence. There is currently a board fence which we're going to be removing, which runs from the southern end of the larger portion of the building, runs all the way down to the south, and we propose to make that, eliminate most of it and move a portion of it for privacy for the residential use. I realize that was a lot to go through, but they're all fairly minimal changes. That's the gist of it. And if I can explain anything further or answer any, and there's the landscaping plan. The use, by the way, is a landscaping, the office for a landscaping company. And my general experience with landscapers, particularly the one across the street from me and others around, is that it's in their best interest to have attractive landscaping. So I suspect, given Edson Eldridge's track record, that will also occur here.
Thank you, Mr. Litchfield. So let's take it to the commission members. Janet?
I have no comments. Thank you.
Okay. Steve?
Yeah, I don't really have any questions. I guess what is the main gist of this application? Is it primarily the fencing, or what's the main thing that's going on here?
If I could, Mr. Chairman, to respond to Mr. DeBoer.
Yes.
From our perspective, we asked for everything that was changing. Whether you care about all of it is up to you. Certainly the fences are going to be visible. And there's a fence there now, which blocks off most of the front of the building. There's going to be a smaller fence closer to the residential portion. There is a change in the stockade fence along the northerly side because it is obviously in the HBD in the historic business district. Some of the smaller things like the location of the post lamps and so forth also require your review.
Okay.
So we don't
Okay,
think
Steve,
anything major that we're asking for.
This is Dan Silver. Steve, you got purview over hardscaping?
Right.
All right, so that would mean, you know, the parking area material, edging, walkways, the light posts, obviously anything hard.
Right. No, I understand. Okay. So no, I mean, I think, you know, everything that's being proposed is you know, is it probably a good idea and probably going to dress up that corner a little bit. So it's probably all a good idea. I was just kind of wondering what the main thrust of this application was, but I think it's just to kind of, you know, there is a lot of fencing involved, and then, you know, moving the lampposts and things are just sort of, you know, ancillary things. So that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Before we go any further, Sarah, you said there was a comment from the planning board?
That is correct, Dan. So the planning board had to review this under site plan approval. We have received an email today from Ali Sabatino, the principal planner, that says the planning board at the regular meeting on February 14th, 2022, voted to approve with conditions the site plan application for 30 Post Office Lane.
Did it say what those conditions were?
No, it did not. However, I imagine they had Attorney Litchfield can probably fill you in on that because I believe he was at the meeting.
All righty. Bill, do you have any comments about that? About the planning board? Oh, I guess we lost Bill.
He's
Yeah.
muted.
Yeah, this is Steve. I actually watched that meeting. I think there were 4 points. There was one about the fence. I think along Depot Road, they were going to try to hide that I think there's going to be a dumpster there, and they were going to try to make it high enough to hide that dumpster. There was some questions about drainage, I think. I think there were 4 points, but I forget what the other 2 were.
Mr. DeBoer is correct, Mr. Chairman, if I could. There is a dumpster as shown on the site plan that you have, and just to the west of that dumpster, there is a gas meter. And they suggested that for safety purposes, we have a bollard or something to protect it from being hit by cars. We didn't ask you for that because we didn't know that it would be requested, but I think it's the sort of minimal change that for safety purposes that you probably wouldn't be overly concerned about, and it's going to be behind a fence on 2 sides and protected by a building on the 3rd. The drainage issues that Mr. DeBoer mentioned are below ground, a gutter and so forth. So I don't think they changed the request that we're making to you.
All right, Steve. Very good. Okay, Doug, are we at you?
Yeah, you know, I think it's a great presentation and great improvements on the property, and I have no questions.
Okay, Sam?
I have no questions. It's going to be basic. I was surprised when I drove there and saw that so much was behind fences, and so that's going to be continued. So, and certainly the parking is a little bit more logically laid out, so it should look well.
Darcy?
I have no questions either, and I think it's a good enhancement for that corner.
All right, this is Dan Silva. Bill, I do have concern. You kept on mentioning stockade fence. We try to avoid those. If you remember, we went through this with Cumberland Farms, and they came up with some very nice fencing that had lattice across the top, I believe it was. And that's around their dumpster, and it's also around the back of the building. It's also on the front, on the old harbor side. So anything, you know, if it's 6 feet tall, anything but stockade. I think they make a a fence with, it's a commercial fence with one board, then one board missing, and then another board. I think that it's also available with maybe 16 or 18 inches of lattice across the top. I'd much prefer to see that than just straight stockade.
If I could respond to that, the fence, the new fence that we're seeking adjacent to the residential stairway is a board fence, which will be the same as the style there now. It's 4 feet high.
All right.
If you're talking about on the north side, adjacent to Depot.
North side, right, yeah.
Yeah, that is a stockade fence. There's a stockade, well, I understand the point. Stockade connotes, at least to me, something that's, 6 feet high and has pointy tops.
That's right, yeah.
Right. And that, I think, is what is there now on the east side, which nobody can see. That which is on the north side, I believe now is not the pointed top, but is more like a board fence. I will certainly talk with Mr. Eldridge about something that would be more aesthetically appropriate. The flip side of that, of course, is two points. One, it's to keep the vehicle storage and equipment storage areas out of the public eye. So to the degree that we can keep them completely covered up, that's a positive for the neighborhood and the town. Secondly, as shown on that site plan, and it may not be as dark as it might be, but there is currently a pretty healthy amount of vegetation between there and Depot Road. So I'm not sure.
I expect it would be, right. Yeah, stockade fence does not come in PVC yet. All the rest of them do. So I don't know if there's a maintenance concern down the road. But if they could do something, I think we also had at Cumberland Farms had them cut off the tips of those and just put a board on it.
Yeah, I'll certainly talk with Mr. Eldridge in that regard. And again, it's in his interest because of the nature of his business to have an attractive setting. So I suspect he'll
Sure. Oh, yeah. No, I understand. I think it's a nice building, too. Yeah, I think it's in the same locale as, neighborhood as Cumberland Farms, so around the corner anyways. All righty. Well, those were my concerns. Anybody else have any other questions or comments? No? All right. Doug?
So Doug Grattan would like to make a motion under site improvement, application 22-005. North Chatham Landscaping, care of William G. Litchfield, Esquire. Application to reconfigure parking area and driveway, replace fencing, and relocate the post land located at 30 Post Office Lane as presented.
Darcy Sequin will second the motion.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. Time to vote. Darcy, you again.
Darcy Sequin in favor.
Sam Strivett,
Sam Strivett in favor.
Doug Grattan,
Doug Grattan in favor.
Steve Du Bois.
Steve Du Bois in favor.
Okay, and Janet, which way would you lean?
I would be in favor if I were given an opportunity.
All right, thank you very much, Janet. And Dan Silver approves too, as well. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. All righty, so I don't think we have any anything else, do we?
Yes, we do. We have an administrative approval. 22-002, Cara Mulvaney, care of James Bustamante, ratification of certificate of administrative approval to replace roofing, siding, and trim on a structure located at 415 Main Street.
Thank you, Sam. That wasn't on my agenda.
So this one was done by Darcy and Doug, and the picture here showing this area that they are going to be replacing the materials on in like kind.
All right. All righty then. Any comments, Doug?
No, it's easy replacement.
Okay, very good. All right then. Would you like to make a motion, Doug?
Doug Gravel, under administrative approval.
Wait a minute, Doug. Actually, why don't you let Steve make a motion? See,
Just
since
like
you were
to
down
ask,
there.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion that we approve the certificate of administrative approval for 415 Main Street to replace the roof, siding, and trim repair.
Darcy
All
Sequel
right,
will second.
all right, Darcy, you're gonna second it?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Before
I'd
we
like
vote,
to,
yes, go ahead, Sam. Yeah.
just have a question here. Is the trim going to be replaced like for like? That's the, could we look at that photograph again?
So sizing wise, yes, Sam, it will be replaced their description was replace 9 square white cedar siding shingles, replace 5 square asphalt roof shingles, replace wood trim to composite, rear of house only, no windows, roofing and siding to match existing materials.
Okay, thank you. All right,
Thank you, Sam. All right, we have a motion been made and seconded. Questions have been answered, so we'll go right to voting. Let's see, Janet, if you could vote.
I'd vote in favor.
Okay, Steve DuBois.
Steve DeBoer votes in favor.
Okay, Doug Grattan.
Doug Grattan votes in favor.
All right, Sam.
Sam Stryber votes to approve.
All right, Darcy.
Darcy Sequel in favor.
Dan Silver is in favor as well. Thank you. All right, Sam, is there anything else that's not on my agenda?
Nope. Good business.
Very good. All righty.
Doug Grattan will
I
make a
don't
motion to
have it. I
adjourn.
printed this offline, so. Very good. Thank you. Do we have a
Darcy-
motion?
Darcy Sequel will second the motion.
We had a motion? Who made it?
I did, Doug Grattan.
Oh, gee, you're too fast for me, Doug. All right, that's seconded. All right, Darcy,
Darcy votes in favor to adjourn.
Sam,
Sam Stryber votes in favor.
Doug Grattan,
Doug Grattan votes in favor.
Steve DuBois,
Steve DeBoer votes to adjourn.
Janet.
It'd be nice to adjourn. Thank you.
Okay, and Dan Silva votes to adjourn as well. Thank you. Thank you all. Sarah, thank you very much for your help once again.
You're welcome. We are adjourned at 5:28 p.m.
I see you all.